Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and the Commanders have officially announced who will be playing and starting against the Ravens in this last preseason game of the 2022 offseason. It's very interesting. Of course, Sam Howell, the rookie quarterback, is the headliner. He will be starting all 4 quarters. Taylor Heinicke will be ready just in case he needs to come in if Sam Howell gets hurt or something. But Sam Howell is the full-time starter for the entire 4 games. We're going to talk about why that's very significant, not only for Sam Howell, but also their trust in Carson Wentz to be ready for this upcoming Week 1 regular season game against the Jaguars. And then, of course, we got to also talk about all of the other guys that are playing, all of the guys that especially aren't playing as far as starters. But it's really interesting because there are a couple of starters that are playing, and what does that say about where they actually stand on the team as far as their starter spot being safe? But before we dive into all of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, make sure you pull up every Friday for the broadcast podcast where we talk about everything funny that's going on: sports, music, gaming, anime, whatever. Make sure you also pull up every Sunday for the regular season live streams. I will be gone the 2nd through the 11th, so no live streams during that period except for maybe that Friday that's in the middle. I believe September 9th. Shea and Jalen may actually hold that down and do it without me. But make sure y'all pull up every week for the Sunday during the game live streams. Then afterwards, my game reviews that I do for in video for 30 minutes or more, and then my post-game live stream shortly after that where y'all call in and y'all voice y'all opinions on everything that went down in the previous regular season game that just happened a couple of hours earlier. And without further ado, let's get it. All right, so the headline again is that rookie quarterback from North Carolina, Sam Howell, will start tonight, and he should be playing all 4 quarters if everything goes well. As long as there's no injuries, Taylor Heinicke is ready to back him up, but Carson Wentz is not touching the field for any reason. If for some catastrophic reason that both Sam Howell and Taylor Heinicke get hurt, we're going to end up throwing anybody out there to play quarterback. It may end up being a receiver or a running back, whoever, because Carson Wentz is not suiting up no matter what in this preseason game. And like I was alluding to earlier in the intro, the fact that Sam Howell is going to play all 4 quarters and they don't feel like Carson Wentz needs to go out there for even a little bit, it's either one of 2 things, maybe a mix of both. On the bad side, it's because the offensive line is still relatively beat up, and a lot of those guys weren't even capable of really playing today in this preseason game. Like I said, I feel like if there were a Super Bowl tomorrow, or even just today, for example, a lot of these guys will be playing, but with it being the preseason, it's not worth putting those guys in harm's way. And so at the same time, with a lot of your offensive linemen out, even though a lot of our depth guys are looking good enough to even start, you still don't want to throw Carson Wentz out there in harm's way. And then on the other side, maybe they've seen enough from Carson Wentz to know, whether it be through practice or what they've seen so far in the preseason, even though I haven't seen enough through preseason to be confident in it yet. Maybe he's shown something in practice recently, but either way, maybe that shows that they're confident enough in Carson Wentz to be able to go out there and put up some points against the Jaguars. Apparently, he doesn't absolutely need these reps. If he were playing today, maybe playing for like an entire quarter, maybe we need to be a little bit more worried than the fact that he's not playing today, to be completely honest. But of course, the main point is I'm really excited to see Sam Howell. The most he's gotten is like a quarter and a half, and the fact that he'll basically be starting an entire 4 quarters, it'll allow him to get into some sort of rhythm. I'm super excited, man, because I think he's going to be better with time. I think he's just going to become more and more comfortable. Him and his receivers will gain better chemistry, and I think he's going to go out there and put on a show. And maybe he ends the preseason looking like the best rookie quarterback, even better than Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. We'll see. Or even Desmond Ridder. But either way, I'm really excited, man. All of these preseason games that's happened, Sam Howell playing has been one of the things I've looked forward to the most, and the fact that he's going to be a 4-quarter full-time starter in this preseason game against the Ravens, I'm super excited, man, because again, the main point is I think he's going to get better with time and with reps, and the more he plays, the better he'll get. And maybe by the time we get to the 4th quarter, he's out here looking like Joe Montana or something, or a muscular Drew Brees, who knows. And again, just to reiterate, Taylor Heinicke is technically the backup quarterback back to Sam Howell. But like depth chart wise and going into the regular season, Taylor Heinicke is obviously the backup to Carson Wentz. Sam Howell has not jumped Taylor Heinicke for depth. They just feel like Carson Wentz and Taylor Heinicke have done enough and have shown enough to where we don't need to force them to play in this final preseason game, which again sounds like is pretty good news. Now let's get to the list of guys that will not be playing. Now granted, some of these guys are due to injury, but a lot of these are just they're sitting the starters like Carson Wentz, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, John Dotson, and kind of Cam Sims, even though he's in concussion protocol, Kyrick McGowan, Charles Leno, and then maybe you could say Andrew Norwell due to injury, Chase Roulier, Trey Turner maybe due to injury, Samuel Cosme, Logan Thomas coming back from injury, Cole Turner, I still feel like if there was a Super Bowl tomorrow, he would play, Curtis Hodges, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Williams, Keith Ishmael, Nolan Laufenberg, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Fadarian Mathis, Jamin Davis, Cole Holcomb, Kendall Fuller, William Jackson III, Josh Drayden, Cameron Curl, and Bobby McCain. All of these guys are not playing tonight, whether it be starters, and a lot of these guys are backups. And again, some of these guys are due to injury, maybe some of these guys recovering from injuries, but like I said, again, if we had to play a Super Bowl today against the Ravens, I feel like almost probably all of these guys will be playing, even like the interior offensive linemen that have been dealing with injuries for the past couple of weeks, and even John Bates, Cole Turner, and Logan Thomas. If there were a must-win game today, I feel like all of these guys are healthy enough to play, but we're just being overly cautious with these guys. And then again, even guys like Carson Wentz, Terry McLaurin, and Jahan Dotson, we're just resting the starters. We've seen enough. We know what we got in those guys. No need to throw them out there when we don't have to. And I just feel like this is a good opportunity for a lot of the backup guys to go out there and fight for those last few spots, especially like in the offensive lineman room and even like the wide receiver room. Dax Milne and Alex Erickson are probably fighting for that final wide receiver spot. So this is their chance to go out there and show who's the best returner or receiver, or maybe both are brought into the calculations for who gets probably that last spot. As of right now, Dax Milne definitely looks like the obvious winner, but who knows what may happen in this game. Offensive lineman wise, there's a lot of backups that are fighting for the last 2 or 3 spots. We'll see how that goes. Tight end, Armani Rogers is going to be your starting tight end more than likely again, but you also have Blanton from the Rams and various guys that are out there competing to see if maybe they can steal one of those last tight end spots from Armani Rogers. And then Curtis Hodges, I feel like maybe because he's hurt, he's not participating, because I'm not sure if his job is necessarily safe enough for him not to play in this game, but who knows. And then running back wise, the fact that Jonathan Williams is not playing, I feel like that says a lot. They know what they have in him, so they're going to let Jared Patterson go out there and compete to see what he can do. But that just automatically sounds like the top 4 running backs on the depth chart are the 4 guys that are not playing. Again, Gibson, J.D. McKissick, Brian Robinson, and Jonathan Williams. Sounds like they already know Jared Patterson is pretty much destined for the practice squad. Then you have defensive lineman wise, of course you have the starters, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and technically Fadarian Mathis. He'll technically be starting whenever we're in 5 down linemen, he'll be the starting nose tackle. And they're going to let all of the other defensive linemen go out there and compete to see who gets those last few spots. Even James Smith-Williams is going out there, and he's the starting edge rusher in place of Chase Young right now. And maybe they want to just get a last good look at everybody to see who truly should start while Chase Young is gone. But of course, it's going to be a heavy rotation of what I feel like is going to be James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, Shaka Toney on obvious pass rushing situations. And F.A. Obata and David Bada looked really good against the Chiefs, so they'll have their opportunity to increase their stock as well. Then linebacker-wise, Jamin Davis and Cole Holcomb not playing. That's just straight up because they want to rest their starters. Neither of those guys are dealing with injuries, so we're good there. They're going to allow Khaleke Hudson and David Mayo to go out there and other linebackers to see if you deserve a spot. Milo Eifler, Trey Walker is your chance to make plays. Nathan Gary is no longer on the team, so that just allows y'all even more snaps to go out there and try to fight for one of those last linebacker spots. But Ron Rivera already said that they're probably going to keep less linebackers than normal and look to pick up a linebacker from another team that ends up getting cut by Tuesday. The 53-man rosters are due Tuesday at 4 p.m. So we'll probably add a linebacker shortly after that. And then cornerback-wise, the fact that Josh Drayden isn't going out there in the preseason, unless he's hurt, maybe his roster spot is safe, but I think it's more than likely that he's just hurt, and that's why he's not going out there. And they're allowing basically every corner other than Kendall Fuller and William Jackson to go out there and fight for their roster spots. Same thing with the safeties. Cameron Curl and Bobby McCain are fighting are safe, and Percy Butler and Darrick Forrest are also safe, but I love the fact that they're going to go out there and basically be the starters from snap one, and we're going to get some really good looks at what they can contribute as far as the defense goes. We already know they're both special team aces, but we're going to need both of those guys to really step up when it comes to being a Buffalo nickel, or when we get in dime packages and all kinds of stuff. We need those guys to really be able to contribute in actual regular season games, meaningful games where the wins and losses count. And then that just allows everybody else to compete. I mean, unsung hero Steven Parker, maybe he goes out there and plays like he did against the Panthers and steals a roster spot from somebody, jumps several people in the depth chart and ends up making a 53-man roster. And then, of course, that also means that a lot of other safeties are competing to hold on to their spots, like Jeremy Reeves. He's not safe to make the roster, but I feel like he's technically ahead of Steven Parker on the depth chart, but Steven Parker has honestly looked better, at least in that Panthers game. So we'll see, man. It's really interesting. But what's also really interesting is who's actually playing, because focusing on that, Benjamin St-Juste is going out there to start, and of course he's not fighting for a roster spot, but he hasn't had a chance to really play much in the preseason. He played a little bit against the Chiefs, and they probably want to see him start outside to see what he can do there. When William Jackson and Kendall Fuller are on the field, he's going to primarily be in the slot, but now he'll have an opportunity to show what he can do on the outside. That's probably where he'll start, and even if he doesn't, he'll probably still play a lot from the slot. But either way, with him not getting a chance to play against the Panthers at all, only playing very little against the Chiefs, I'm happy that he's going out there and playing against the Ravens, at least for a little while. And then you also have Dyami Brown, and I just want to see Sam Howell throw the pass to him, because maybe Sam Howell can get greatness out of him, because so far Dyami Brown has been very underwhelming in the preseason. Apparently throughout training camp practices, from clips I've seen from reporters that have been there every day, he's had a really good camp. But when it comes to the preseason games, he can't separate. It's just not looking good for him. But hey, man, hopefully Sam Howell, I've been asking for this, because Dyami Brown was technically too high on the depth chart to be out there with Sam Howell. Sam Howell was out there with the backups of the backups. Dyami Brown was out there with the second stringers with Taylor Heinicke and those guys, and even occasionally out there with Carson Wentz. But now he'll be out there with his boy Sam Howell, and again, maybe they can rekindle that flame from North Carolina, and Sam Howell can actually bring some greatness out of Dyami Brown, because we just haven't seen it so far in the preseason. And I'm seeing on a different list that Antonio Gibson will play tonight, and if he is, that's probably just to get him more special team snaps to see what he can truly do, to see, like, as a returner. Ron Rivera already announced that he's the starting kick returner, but maybe they want to get him more return snaps before the regular season comes, to make sure that he's able to not muff the punt, to be able to catch the ball correctly and make the right decision, touchback or not, all of that type of stuff. It's not just being explosive, it's about being smart and being able to catch the ball safely without muffing the punt and giving the ball right back to the other team and things like that. So I'm still not exactly sure if Antonio Gibson is playing or not based on these lists. It looks like he won't, but if he will, just take into account that it has nothing to do with him being RB1 or not. It's more so his kick return responsibilities. I think that's what's going on there. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please leave a like if you liked it, if you learned anything. And as always, I appreciate all the support, man. Shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now. My stream may be a little weird because the dogs are getting groomed, and hopefully they're done before 7 p.m. Not sure if they will be, but definitely make sure you pull up to the stream whenever I finally start it. I feel like I should be ready at 8 by the latest, so hopefully I will be, but we'll see. And I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.